Reality. Reality receipts.
Hi guys, welcome back to the Reality Receipts podcast starring me, Storytime with Ricky.
And me, Reality Ashley, and we are back to talk about Love Island USA
Casa
episodes.
Amor.
Yes, Casa Amor has begun, and we're 2 episodes into it now, 19 and 20, right? That's what it is on yours. So
Yeah.
obviously, we just saw the big ending of episode 20, yes, in quote. Hopefully you guys all watched to the end because like there was something that happened at the end, but we will get there.
Yeah.
Should we start back at the start of Casa Amor?
Let's start back at the start of Casa Amor, even though I know it's like so hard to just skip back and not talk about what allegedly happened tonight. I'm not buying it, but we'll get there. But yeah, let's go back to how we ended off. So obviously we ended off with like a big dumping Jeremiah, which I'm very upset about. So we see the aftermath of that. Nothing really. We see Amaya kind of crying and having gratitude because she got saved.
Was she just being funny, or is that a thing like that I missed on like TikTok? Are we saying gratitude?
No, she's just, I think that's what she thought that's what the word was. So she
okay. I thought she was just trying to be funny, like mix gratitude with ratatouille, and I was like, oh, is that a trend?
Okay. She thought the word was. Amaya has her own language, and that's why we love her. So she was filled with gratitude for staying. TJ kind of asked Taylor the decision behind sending Jeremiah home, and I think what stuck out to me there was Taylor saying, basically, right, the Ace script, like, oh, we didn't know if he was just going to repeat the cycle and if he was the problem. That was like the main thing, like him being the problem. So they sent him home, and we hear Shelly telling Ace that they sent Hannah home because they felt like she wasn't exploring enough, which I feel like it's exploration island at this point. Because everyone's so focused on exploring. And it almost feels like Shelly is now taking Ace's excuses and putting them into the mix, because this whole idea that Hannah hasn't explored is crazy to me. Like, if you think like, oh, she's got the most out of her experience and we don't think she's here for the right reasons, say that. But like, to say she hasn't explored is actually insane, because she's...
Yeah, we've seen her explore 2 men, so like...
We've seen her explore. Okay, so
we saw the hand washing, as I call it.
I seen Pepe's hips moving, so I no longer have questions about what went down under them sheets. But we've seen her explore. Like, she was with Charlie, she explored with Pepe, and now she's continuing exploring that. And it's like, I feel like Jeremiah was in 3 couples, so to say that Hannah hasn't explored was wild. Like, Shelly, who have you really explored with? You got stuck with Austin. You didn't really like him. We knew you didn't like him. And now you're with Ace and haven't explored since. And in Ace, same thing. You had this fake exploration with Iris, this fake exploration with Amaya, and now you're hooked on Shelly. Taylor hasn't talked to anyone, so how dare you talk about anyone exploring? The word explore shouldn't even come out of your mouth. I mean... No. That's in this before we got to Casa Amor night 2. But that's just kind of how the episode started. And then I was confused because then it cuts to Sierra saying, well, Hannah had 2 really good connections in here. So which one is it? Did she not explore, or did she have, you know what I mean? Because 2 things, those 2 things can't be true at once. Either she didn't explore or she had 2 connections. Like, having 2 connections means she explored, If you have much more than 2 or 3, then you exploring too much, and it upsets the audience, and it feels like, you're doing too much, right? So you've got to find that medium.
Yeah, they all seemed like, I guess that's the point. That people are saying it is technically a game, which I guess because of the cash prize, but I've never looked at it as like a full game. Like, there's Love Island games, that's games, but like this is, I always thought more about the love, and then there is a little bit of a game at the end, but like, yeah, they seem to be policing each other's love exploring a lot because it's like some people they say do too much, some do too little, and none of their reasoning is making sense. And
Yeah.
like saying we thought maybe Jeremiah was the problem, like where did that come from? Like, is there stuff we're not seeing? Is what I keep wondering because they all seem pretty convinced that Huda was the problem before, and now they're thinking it's Jeremiah. Like, what made them come to that conclusion? I don't understand.
Yeah, I think for me, it's starting to seem like they are second guessing if they, like, I think nobody was really sure who the problem was. It seems like
Yeah.
Ace seemed like both of them were the problem, but it
Mhm.
seemed like he maybe thought that for the wrong reasons. Like Ace thought they were, I think he thought Jeremiah was locking in on Huda, didn't really like her, but was like playing a game to like close himself off so that they could win. I think that's what
Yeah.
Ace thought. If I had to put myself in Ace's shoes, as opposed to like them kind of realizing like they're both kind of toxic and they're both kind of not like, I think he was more so looking from it of like they're playing a game, they're faking this
Mhm.
connection so that they could win, as opposed to like what it actually was. That's why I think I was really
Yeah.
disappointed in Ace, was because I thought like so many episodes I was like an Ace sympathizer, so when he was getting all this hate online, I'm like, wait, no, we like Ace, he's the voice of the villa, he's saying what we all
Yeah.
think and what we all feel. And then when I
Uh-huh.
realized like Ace had it wrong this whole time, I'm like, oh,
Yeah.
you thought Jeremiah was the problem. But I just don't understand how anyone can see what happened with Huda and think that Jeremiah was solely the problem. So again, their reasonings
Yeah.
are so silly. And I think last season I completely forgot that they were playing for 100K. Like I
Yeah.
forgot until they got to the end of to the final vote. Like I
Mhm.
genuinely forgot, you know. So
Yeah.
on this, I think this time around, it's like so evident that
Mhm.
it's that they're out for the money, they're out for gameplay, like you said. Like it's like they're on traders, or they're on like, so they're trying
Yeah.
to like take out their competition, and it's like that's not what Love Island is about. So I definitely think they're losing the plot, and maybe that's why
Mhm.
they enforce these new rules in Casa, you know,
Yeah.
trying to
Yeah,
switch it
speaking
up.
of last season, we had a good chat earlier today because we are so into this. We actually talk about it when we're not on the podcast too, because we
Yes.
just love to talk about it. But you were saying like a good point because you weren't a fan of Leah last season.
I
I was a
wasn't.
fan.
Don't come for me. I like her now. I just didn't get
Yes.
the lure of her on the show. But
Yeah.
after the show, I got the Leah lore. I was like, oh, okay. Like after seeing her social media and seeing her personality, I was like, oh, okay. But yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, we were trying because you pointed out like there's some clips going around now of Leah speaking sort of the same way that Huda is now, like calling women bitches and some of the same language. So we were trying to figure out because I was like, I really liked Leah last season. I'm not a fan of Huda, so what is the difference there? Why is everybody so they were loving Leah, but they're not loving Huda? But I think it's because I think Huda just went a little bit too far with it. Like I think she was trying to not copy Leah, but she remembered that everybody loved like this outspoken, emotional, like Meg the Stallion told her, like you stood on business. So I think she just has taken that just to another level. And I also do think that's just her natural personality and how she
Mhm.
is like in her normal relationships, but she just didn't reel it in time. Like I think she had so many opportunities the way Leah did last season to like apologize and tone it down and sort of like we could understand in those moments where she was just overly emotional. But for Huda, it's been like 10 days of over emotional and attacking people. And
Yeah.
yeah, I just don't think they're showing, I don't even know if she has that good side that Leah seemed to have. Like we saw a lot of good out of Leah too, but we haven't really seen that from Huda. They're definitely trying now to show it,
They're
like give her
definitely
that.
trying now. And I will say though that Huda has hit 1 million followers on TikTok and almost 1 million on Instagram. So I believe that she's not, she is getting the Leah effect. Like, you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Like she has a ton of supporters out there that like
Mm-hmm.
swarmed my videos, swarmed my
Yeah.
comments. And to be honest, like, we recap, we have fun, and, we don't take it outside of just talking about the show. We recap a lot of shows. So it's not personal, like you're just giving your honest opinion on what you're seeing. And it takes the fun out of it when you have people like reporting your videos or calling you, sliding in your DMs, calling you names. And, it takes the fun out of
Yeah.
it. Because I remember last season, I stopped making videos about Leah because the comments about her were so overwhelming and stuff like that. Like my videos were getting like flags and stuff like that because I'm like, I'm giving my opinion on the girl and I'm like, okay, like I don't really like how she talked to Liv. She's telling her F you, she's calling her a B, like when Liv is being calm. And it's a difference of opinion, and I think a difference of opinion is cool as long as it's like respectful. Like you can, like, I don't actually hate Huda, like, you know what I mean? Like,
No.
it's just a character that I'm seeing on the show. Like after Love Island, I'll never think of Huda again. So it's not that serious. I should be able to say my opinion on the girl without people being in an uproar. And the Love Island audience is just different. I feel like it's different on every platform because I feel like YouTube and Instagram are cool, but then TikTok is like they're so sensitive, and it's because they're young people. Like I notice like every single time I'm getting ready to cuss somebody out because they said some crazy on my page or DM'd me something crazy, I go look and it's like you're 18 or you're 17, you're
like
14,
12,
and I'm like, how are you even here? Like how are you seeing my content?
You should be watching Love Island.
And 3, you're not supposed to have voter rights, boo. Like y'all are swinging the vote. So it's interesting because I think we forget a lot of what happened last season, but as the clips have been coming up, and I see a lot of the comments like, oh yeah, but then y'all are mad at Huda, Leah did the same thing, and I'm like, I think there was a difference, but I do remember watching Leah thinking, why is she speaking to people like this? Or why is she, she doesn't have to cuss at this girl, or she doesn't have to call her a bitch, or she doesn't, I remember thinking that, like, and I remember her locking in on Rob really soon and like kind of getting jealous that people were talking to him early on. And she did tell him, like at the fire pit when he recoupled with Andrea, which was like I think when he recoupled with Andrea was his first time like recoupling, right? Outside of Leah. So it's like you see those things and you are like, oh, okay. Like, so that's why I think Huda, like you said, to your point, watched it and thought this, I'm going to go in and show this raw emotion, and that's what's going to make people love me. But I think she took it extremely too far, where it was borderline emotional and verbal abuse. Like I don't think we ever saw Leah like to Rob's face be like, you fucking bitch, like, you know what I mean? I think
I think that's
the girls, you know what I mean? And then when they played it at movie night, she was utterly embarrassed about it, like that he saw her calling him a bitch,
and I think it's like a thing with Huda where now even with the new guy she's saying like I'm crazy or I'm emotional, and it's like she kind of finds it funny. I felt like Leah, like you said, she felt embarrassed and like that wasn't right when she saw herself act that way, and I don't think Huda would feel that way unless she was doing it for like this redemption. But I don't think she honestly sees any problem with it. I think like they told her multiple times in the moment, like, you're going too far, let's keep it classy, let's not use this language, and she was like looked very confused, like, what do you mean, like, why not? So
I think even on this week's episode, like I think her little JD boo was trying to like give her grace like to the camera, because in the confessional he said, oh, like she took accountability and like I like that. But then in the scene with her, we hear him saying, oh, she don't give a fuck. Like I like somebody who doesn't give a fuck. So is it that you took accountability or you don't give a fuck? You know what I mean? Like and
I don't feel like we've seen her take accountability at all. I don't think she's ever, all she's ever said is I can rewrite my story, but we've never ever seen her say like feeling bad about the way she's talked to the women or Jeremiah. So that's why I
acknowledge how she's spoken to the women at all. And I think people are, she said sorry to Jeremiah when he was leaving. I know that's the big thing. We hear her say, sorry, I was mean to you, but it was almost like a joke. I guess I didn't take that as like a genuine, sincere apology. It was like, sorry, I was mean to you, ha ha type thing, and I know I'm not the nicest. And she said, I'm sorry it happened this way, not I'm sorry this happened. I'm sorry that you're getting sent home is how I interpreted it. But I noticed that people interpret things very different. Like, on the Instagram, after there's eliminations, they do the celly phone, and the eliminated islanders get cell phone messages from people in the villa. And of course, Jeremiah's came from Nick, which fake, since Nick just sent him home, and Huda, which I mean, the messages should have came from Andrina, his current connection, and maybe Austin or Iris. Like, we've seen this friendship they were building, and it's like, to me, he very visibly was annoyed. Like, the message, as soon as his voice came through, he went, you know what I mean? And some people watched that and saw that he was giddy, saw that he was elated to hear from Huda. And it's like, that's like, he kept shaking his head. He kept like trying to smile, trying to be, I would have hung up if I was him personally, but I think it's just so different how people view things, and that's why it's fun to have these conversations. But then it's not fun when you take it to the max and you start like, I can't tell you how many B's I've been called. I got a death threat, girl. I got F you, leave Huda alone. It's like, girl, like, I always think it's like the audience needs to chill. It's just a show. Just like we pop our shit on the podcast or on socials, and we keep it there, but never would I go to these people's Instagrams and message them or comment. Like, I don't care that much, and neither should the audience. But like, I've seen people like writing out their little DMs to Nick and to Ace and to Taylor, and I think that's so ridiculous,
there's enough like forums, like social media pages, podcasts with your friends. There's enough places to talk about these people. Like, you have to think of it like a TV show, right? And you wouldn't like go message like an actor. And I know it's reality, right? It's real people, but still, you wouldn't message actors on a TV show about what they're doing on the show. You talk about it with your friends and your family and
a movie, right? Like, you wouldn't talk about what they're doing in a movie. And it's like on a podcast or on our socials, if they have the choice of like reading it or not. Like, if you see a video come up and you don't want someone's opinion, then you don't watch the video, or you don't click on the podcast that's clearly giving an opinion on their show. But in their comments and in their messages, they can't really avoid that. So that's the main difference. I think that's why in tonight's episodes, they kind of put up like the anti-bullying warning and whatnot, which was needed, I guess,
there's no need to go and say something to them, because they're on the island now. They can't read it anyways. I saw that no one is running Amaya's socials. Did you see that?
No, I'll do it.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, everyone, they've got a person making videos, making clips, like building their following, but Amaya's has just been silent. So everyone's like, go follow her, because that's sad that she's getting so much love, but then she's not seeing it. So.
Her and see again, and that's right. That's like the beauty of these shows, right? Your opinion can change, because a few weeks ago, my opinion on Amaya, I was like, she's a little emotionally unstable. Like, why is she crying to Ace? But then it's like, that's just who the girl is. She's just emotional. We've seen her crying to JD tonight. I was like, wait, girl, don't cry. Scare him off. Relax, But it's just like, she's unapologetically herself. And I think that's what the viewers love about her. And oh my God. And it's like, I hate that. I'm about to find her social, but I hate that, like, that she, obviously jumping ahead to that she wasn't picked Casa Amor night one, because Amaya's so gorgeous to me, and I don't know if you've seen her. Oh, she has 285K now on
that's good,
on Instagram, but she's like literally stunning. I mean, I think she uses a little bit of face app, but who doesn't? You know what I think the island, the humidity is just doing her a disservice. That's what's going on. Is Amaya probably doesn't know how to do her hair on her own, and there's no hairstylist on set, and so her hair is laid. Like, her hair is freaking laid on her Instagram, but in that humidity, it's hard to keep it laid. I get it. That's what my shit would be looking like. It's like she's I'm like, what is wrong with these women.
Yeah. Well, it is hard because these people now have seen what's happened to this point, like with Huda being a mom. Like they all know a little bit too much now. But I do think like what Amaya has done, how she had those emotional crash outs at the start, but now we love her. Like that's what happened kind of with Leah, and like that's what Huda could have had if in those moments when Jeremiah like came to her and said like let's start over as friends, if she would have just been like yes, and then been not so emotional after it, we would have loved her too. But I don't think we're seeing that good side like that we're seeing to Amaya. Like Amaya has the emotional, crash out phase of her, but she also has all these sweet moments, and she
Yes,
seems
it's
so
very
kind and
sweet. She's
yeah,
very sweet. And she's also a girl's girl. Like I
yeah,
feel like Amaya she is holding the girls accountable. She is one of the first one to say, wasn't it her that told like I don't think it was right that you pulled Jeremiah while he was talking to Iris. And then tonight we see her give Alandria the respect of saying, "Hey, I kissed the guy that you're coupled up with." And it's like Alandria don't want that man or care
no,
about that man, but that's not what it was about. She pulled her.
yeah,
And I think Amaya is really sweet and really genuine. And I think,
hmm
I don't know if you noticed, like when she pulled JD, um, Huda was like, yeah, she pulled JD and I didn't say anything. Like, I didn't say a thing. You know what I mean? Which
like
let
what
me
would she
know,
say?
like, you wanted to. Like, you wanted to. Like, you saying that you didn't say anything is you saying something. Like, you know what I mean?
Yeah,
Because you shouldn't have to, like, announce that. Like, that
no,
Amaya pulled JD and you didn't say anything. You can't say anything. That is
no,
how
you've
this game
known him for 1 hour.
that is how
So
this game goes. You can't say anything. Like you're not supposed
yeah,
to say anything. The thought of even saying anything or saying that you didn't say anything shouldn't even resonate. So,
mhm,
um, I am curious to see how her connection with JD goes because JD wasn't
yeah,
a person that she pulled or
mhm,
picked for the game initially. So obviously we're all up in Casa, right? Like
yeah,
the girls went to Casa and the boys
yes.
had this super long drawn out kissing challenge. It
Oh, too
dragged,
much kissing. Yes.
I
What
forwarded.
what did you think of the kissing challenge?
I
Like
fast
TJ with the
forwarded
low,
it.
yeah.
I fast forward. It
They
was
were,
too long. It took too long for the girls to get out and then the new girls to come in and then everybody kissing everybody. Like they showed every single person, kissed every single person. I'm like,
hmm
since when do they do that? Usually they just give us bits and pieces. So it was
yeah.
entirely too long. Nick grabbing everybody's ass. It's like,
Yeah, that's what I was gonna say. Like he was getting in there, so
that's the only thing that like really stood out about
it's
that.
so weird to think of like kissing people you never even seen before. Like that just freaks me out. I don't know how
Yeah.
they do it, but I mean they're all hot, so it's fine, but it's also like, yeah, if you've never even like seen this person and now yeah, they go right in there. So
Yeah.
it's a
So
lot.
what did you think of this new rule in Casa of coupling up? Because usually Casa, you don't couple up. Everybody
hmm
just kind of explores everybody and you pick, right? Who you sleep in
Yeah.
a bed with. You have to ask the person, do you
Yeah.
want to share a bed tonight? So you can share a bed with a different motherfucker every single night if you're not
Yeah.
coupled up. So this was different. This was now
Yeah.
you're in a couple, that's who you sleep with. Why do
I
you think
think
they did that and what'd you think of it?
I think they did that because of all this social media stuff. Because I know, like with last season, right? When you have these, which we don't really have this season, but when you have these favorite couples and then they go to Casa Amor and someone like pulls a guy who's with a girl favorite, like Serena and Cordell thing, right? Like she got a lot of hate. What was her name again? Dea.
Dea.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. And then what was the other girl's name that was with Rob?
Andrea?
Daniela? Was
Daniela.
there?
See,
Yeah.
but
Was that her
I
name?
don't think so. That's the thing is where I think the Love Island producers are missing it. I don't think, like, oh, Daniela, I don't think
Yeah.
that Dea got hate because she partnered with Cordell. I think
Mm.
she got hate because of the way she went about it. Like, she laid it
Yeah.
on thick. She went in trying to kiss him, trying to straddle him, and when somebody's coupled with somebody, you just don't move that way. And I think that's
Yeah.
why Serena was so upset too, because you can explore a connection and remain respectful. Like you,
Mhm.
I think that if Daya had went in there and was just pulling him for chats and just having conversation, and we seen that okay, something is there between them and something is building, and they're like really getting to know each other and they like each other, people could have
Yeah.
understood that. But I think what people couldn't f with is like you instantly started kissing, straddling, like then it's just a physical connection and it's not an
Yeah.
emotional connection. And with
But
Daniela, I think it was because you tried to get on Aaron and that didn't work out, and then you homie hopped to Rob. I think that was the problem.
Well, I think the problem is if they were all being respectful of those other couples, then the Casa Amor would be so boring. They wouldn't have any clips to show. Like nothing would happen. But
Right.
so I think they needed to push it a little bit to put them in the beds together to hope something goes down. Otherwise, everyone's being so respectful because they're worried about how it looks, and then it's not very exciting. So I think they did it just to make it a little easier for the people to explore and not look bad because they can be like, well, I didn't want to couple up with this person, I had to, and then they're in a bed all of a sudden and it's not their choice, right? So
I'm not really I'm not fully understanding the new rules of Casa. It was almost bizarre to see the OGs scrambling for connections versus the Casa
yeah.
people scrambling for connections, because usually it's the Casa people scrambling to connect with an OG than the other way around.
Mhm.
I
I
was so sad that Olandria and Amaya did not get picked. Like,
yeah.
that's always
Yeah,
so
that
sad
was
to see. But Alandria did seem very closed off.
yeah,
That's
she
my
did.
opinion.
She wasn't giving the vibe. And that's the problem is these people are all thinking of how do I stay, not who do I like, right? It's like what's my best option of staying? And so that's why the picks were so weird. But I do also kind of think they did that. They're doing all of this because they do feel like people are kind of mad at the OGs with all the votes that have been going down. And they want us to feel a little bit bad for them. They wanted us to see them scramble, and then obviously we saw them cry and crash out later because of what happened. So I
Yeah.
think they kind of did that on purpose because we've been being a little hard on them and like annoyed with their choices, and they wanted us to like see them a little sad, I guess. So
Like, that makes
that's
sense.
just my thought.
I think they're trying something new and trying to throw something at the wall, see if it sticks, trying to
Yeah.
see if they can kind of create a new cast in a sense, since we don't have any strong couples, and like we maybe they are listening that like they're game playing too much and focus too much on the money. They should you know what they should do to just throw them off? They should at this point in the game be like, there's no prize money.
Yeah.
There's no prize money at the end of this.
Yeah.
You guys you're playing for love, and you guys win a paid vacation with your partner.
Like perfect match does.
Yeah, like you don't get no money. And I wonder how the game would switch up at that point. But I don't know. I think I didn't like that for Olandria and Amaya, and then seeing Amaya standing there solo because Zach ended up going with Olandria was sad. I did love that no one stood on Nick's box, because I feel like Nick
Yeah.
has been full of himself, because every bombshell that's come in has wanted Nick, has gravitated towards Nick. So it was a nice humbling moment for Nick to
Yeah.
not only not get chosen in the first challenge, but we see how it ended in the end, to not get chosen at all, and Fate go home, but we'll get there.
Yeah,
Yeah,
should we?
so that was Casa Night 1. Night 2 was
Yes.
tonight's episode, which
Uh-huh.
honestly, after night 1, Ashley, I was ready to give up on the show. After Jeremiah went home, I just thought, I was floored, because I thought there's no way that they're not going to bring this man back. Like, there's no way that they're going to allow him to endure what he endured, like bullying
Yeah.
from the boys, bullying from Huda, and not give him a fair chance at this
Yeah, we want to
game.
see a happy ending for him, and
We
we
do
didn't
want
get
to
to
see a
see
happy
that.
ending from him. I know that people see him as problematic, and they have their views, either your team Huda, your team Jeremiah. But to me, it was like, if Huda gets a chance to stay, then so does Jeremiah, because like you said, that's the only way to find out who the problem was. Is Huda going to repeat the cycle and cling to her next partner and crash out when he explores? Is Jeremiah, like, I think like where production messed up is Andrea should have came in so much sooner,
Yeah,
in my opinion.
it was too late when she
It was
came.
too late when she came in. She should have been a bombshell. She was clearly a bombshell for Jeremiah. You know what I mean? So I think the real test would have been sending her in while Jeremiah and Huda were solid. And if he didn't even give Andrina a conversation while he was with Huda, then I would have been like, okay, like, you know what I mean? Here's your type. Here's somebody you like, and you're
Yeah.
not even going to explore. I think he would have explored, and I think Huda would have explored. I don't think JD is her type, but I think maybe someone like who's the guy that's coupled up with Andrina right now? The Samoan.
Oh, I forget his
He's
name,
not
but I know
Samoan,
who you're
but
talking about.
he looks like Jason Momoa, the
Yes.
tatted boy. I feel like somebody
Mhm.
like him, if he would have came in, like maybe she would have been open to a exploring. But I don't know, because Ace seems like her physical type, and like she didn't even give Ace a conversation. So
Yeah.
again, I think so many different things could have been done, but woulda, shoulda, coulda.
Coulda, woulda, coulda, shoulda.
But I do think
What?
Jeremiah deserves a second chance, but we think he's gone for good because he allegedly maybe might be on a certain
He
podcast
is.
tomorrow.
Yeah, he is. They released the teaser, so he
And
will
it's
be on.
him!
It's him.
I knew
But
it. What? Somebody did say that on Love Island UK that
I
one
saw
of the
it.
girls
That's what I was gonna say.
See, we have the same brain. Somebody did say that
Yes.
I guess she did a podcast and then was still able to come back. Unfortunately, I don't think him doing
No.
press is a good sign of him coming.
But what I think would have been awesome is if this is like something they do maybe on Big Brother or Survivor, I think, but if they took all the people who left so far and then they all get to vote like one person back in, they do that on Big Brother and it's really good. So if they would bring
Don't
back
they
like,
do that on Perfect Match too? They like bring back everybody and
oh
then
yeah, I think so.
vote at the
Yeah.
end. Yeah.
Yeah, so that would be good if they brought like, although those guys wouldn't vote Jeremiah back in anyway, so he's kind of screwed either way. So, but yeah, I was hoping with what we saw at the end, something might go down like that. But other people guessed like they'll each be a bombshell in the other villa. That sounds more plausible, I think.
Yeah.
But
Yeah, and
they're not going on a date, I don't think. That's what
I
some
don't
other
think they're
people
going on a
thought.
date. Some people like
No.
wanted the NICOLANDRIA train has sailed. Unfortunately, I don't think that's going to happen. Alandria is way too close to Sierra, and Nick is way too close to the boys. As we saw, Taylor had an absolute meltdown when he thought Nick was leaving.
That's the first time we've seen them upset, and it was only over
each other.
Nick. So
Each other. Like Ace was crying, Taylor was crying. Like full on, like in the freaking Ace's arms, like it was wild. Like it was nice to see, like, oh, they have a true bromance, but I think I'm so mad at the three of them that it was so hard for me to give a F.
yeah.
But
Although,
I just knew, like, I think because I was watching it the whole time thinking to myself, okay, obviously now we're on Casa Amor night 2, you guys. Nothing of relevance happened, in my opinion, throughout the episode, but obviously the big
well, there was a
moment.
couple things.
Okay, really?
Like, Zach, I'm like, don't skip all the way to the end. I got my notes.
Yeah.
What
about
that? What about Zach kissing Amaya? Like, do you think that was a real kiss, or was that the only way that he was gonna get to?
And I think that's what makes me sad, right?
Yeah, I think he's just using her, which
kind of beg, you know. I love that she like got out of her comfort zone and like tried to pull JD for a chat, tried to pull Zach for a chat, but like she literally the first night begged, kind of like, "Do you want to kiss me?" And he was like, "I'm 50-50, like I don't know." And then he's like, "Okay, fine," like almost like, you know. And I don't like that for her. And then again, it almost seems like he tried to kiss Alandria. She said no. And then Amaya said yes. So is it like it's only physical that are you looking for something physical, you know?
I think he just wanted to make sure he got picked, and he was worried that with not kissing Alandria, he didn't have a good enough connection to stay, and that Amaya was a better shot. He is friends with Miguel on the outside world. Did you know that? Yes. He's in a bunch of pictures with him. So not that that matters, but obviously he probably got a little tips from him and knows how to play it a little bit. So yeah, I didn't think he genuinely.
Why would he think that he didn't, like, why? I think the bombshells kind of knew that they would be the ones getting the pick. So why would he think that he wasn't going to get picked? Because he would be the one making the choice.
I think they probably were expecting like something weird to happen, just in case, you know. You
Just
can
in
never be
case.
too like settled in. That's why they're always thinking if we pick, if they pick, like they're always trying to cover their bases, which is where it feels like a game-ish, you know. But yeah, I
Yeah.
just didn't think that was
I
real.
just didn't like that she had to go around asking for kisses. Now, I do
Hmm.
think that Alandria seemed really closed off. As much as she was saying, "Oh, I'm having good chats with him," she
No,
was closed off. All we heard
I
her saying is how much she misses Taylor, and like she's just giving an energy of just like not interested. So
hmm
I'm not mad that Zach chose Amaya. I think they look really good together.
hmm I thought Taylor and like when Taylor was talking to Clark, he did seem way more interested than when he talks to Alandria. It was like a different man, and so.
Yeah, and he's making eye contact. He's complimenting her. He was doing
Mhm.
that to Coco, and he compared he said that his connection with Coco was like his with Alandria, and he also said his connection with Clark was like his with Alandria. And I think the scene that threw me off was when Nick and Ace are over there, saying, "Oh, look how happy he is. We haven't seen him this happy with Alandria." Just
Yeah.
so quick to throw Alandria to the wayside,
And
and
they
it's like,
said when Alandria comes back, Taylor will need a full suit of armor. I wrote that down because it made me mad. I'm like, what has Alandria ever done to seem like angry in any way or like she would get
I
mad,
didn't
you
hear
know?
that. I missed that comment.
Yeah, Nick said it. He was like, oh, Taylor's gonna need a full suit of armor when Alandria comes back. And I'm like, she would, I mean, she might be upset, but she's never like crashed out on anyone. So I didn't know where that came from.
She
I
would
just thought that was
totally be
weird.
like, "I want you to explore." She would literally be like, "This is what it's all about. I want you to explore because
Hmm.
I had the chance to do that with Jalen. So here's your chance to do it with Clark." I
Yeah.
feel like that would be her response. Like she's so mature, but I just didn't like how they were instantly like, how can you say, "Oh, like yeah, he has a better connection with Clark," and it's like you've known her for less than
Yeah.
24 hours
It's
at
like
this
one
point.
conversation. Hmm.
Although, I mean, I guess it's like to their point as the viewers, we could instantly see a difference. Like there was a clear
Yeah.
difference. He doesn't look Alandria in the eye. He doesn't compliment her. He kind of doesn't even face towards her when they're speaking. You know what I mean?
Hmm.
Versus like Clark, he was hooked in. He's locked in. He's looking at her. He's joking. He's, making little innuendos. He's, you know what I mean? They're smiling. They're
Hmm.
giggling. Um,
I think Olandria is just so gorgeous that she makes him nervous and he can't get over it, you know? Not that
Maybe.
Clark is not gorgeous, they're all
Clark is
gorgeous,
too, but
but
so is
Olandria
Coco.
is just
I
like,
feel like Coco is like, can't look at you in your eye,
yeah.
gorgeous. And he
Yeah.
did okay with her. Like he did good with her. Like, so that's why I'm like, I don't know. I don't know
Yeah.
because Clark and Coco were standing on his box and he chose Coco,
Yeah.
you
Hmm.
know? And then obviously ended up with Clark. So,
Hmm. What about Vanna? What did you think of Vanna?
okay. I think that Vanna should stop getting filler and Botox.
Yeah, someone put up her like high school picture or something like her yearbook photo, and
Mhm.
I don't know what the proof is, but they said it looked like filler in high school, so I don't know.
I
Apparently
don't
kids
know
do
if
that
you
now.
can get, I mean, you can if your parents, I guess, allow you to, but like, I just feel like she definitely has filler in her lips and like, and the thing is she's 21. She's so young. She doesn't need it.
So young.
She doesn't need it. Like, I don't understand when girls who are that young are like, what are you trying to tighten? What are you trying to like? It's all tight. It's tight.
Hmm.
Everything's tight.
Well, I think
Like, you don't
filler
need
doesn't
anything.
even tighten, right? Like I think
I don't even know.
is it
Also,
Botox?
filler plumps and then like something else tightens, like, but I think she's had a little bit of it all and it's a
Hmm.
little too much and I think she should lay off of it. And I mean, obviously I didn't see her and Ace have one single conversation. I
Hmm.
think when Ace brought the breakfast for Coco, it was a clear indicator that he is interested in Coco and not in her. So
Yeah.
she found herself gravitating towards TJ, who seems to think he looks like Justin Timberlake, which absolutely
Yeah,
freaking
what did you think about that?
girl. When they called Justin Timberlake some music, throwback music, my heart sank into my ass. Okay, like
Right.
why would you
Yeah.
say that? Like, oh my
He's
god!
He's on a world tour. He's still a thing, right? He's not throwback. He's now.
Yeah, he's currently on tour right now. Why would you? Don't you disrespect him like that? So having that chat, like watching that chat made me want to just die a little bit inside. So, yeah, you don't look like Justin Timberlake, actually. But she gravitated towards him, which to me, there's something off about TJ. He's really cringy to me.
Yeah.
I don't like him. Like, he doesn't have a
No.
good personality. He's rude and then calls it being blunt.
I love that Ariana was kind of like gave it back to him a little bit
Yeah,
when
he
in the
deserved it.
kissing
He was
challenge.
being
Yeah.
rude. He was being rude. But Vanna seems to like it, so good for her.
Speaking of Ariana, she's 40 today. Happy birthday, Ariana. Not that she listens to our podcast, but I know she looks so good.
She looks great. Now, I need to know where she gets her Botox, because
Yeah.
that is good Botox, you know?
She has put out like a thing saying all the stuff that she's had done, and I'm pretty sure she said like no filler, stay away from the filler, because it gives you that older look, right? She does other stuff. I don't know what it is.
Blindness, where you don't realize, like, okay, the lips are too big. Because like Sierra, her lips, Huda, her lips, like, they have filler blindness to where they just keep plumping them, and it's like, I'm sure you look really great without them, because they're all beautiful girls, you know?
It's like with anything. When you start a little, then you just keep going and you don't realize
that's why you just
it's a thing.
Just don't start. Just don't start.
As a person with a very round face, filler is not on the top of my list, but I got a list of other stuff I'd like to do.
Well, I heard like if you get it in your masseters, it like gives you like a sharp.
Well, that's Botox. I think you're thinking of Botox.
Yeah, I don't know.
We need help, someone. No, don't tell us.
I've seen people get it in their masseters, and then it gives them like a sharp jawline, and it kind of chisels out their chin,
like a chin implant.
Yeah,
I could do that.
I'm like,
no, we don't.
Out this face, because apparently, you guys, because I'm from the neck up, people think that I'm like a bigger girl. Like,
nobody thinks that. Nobody thinks that.
so many times, like that they assume that I'm like, bigger girl, and I'm like, no, I'm not. Not that there's anything wrong with that, but I'm like, no, like, but.
Round faces are good, then we don't need the fillers. So that's what I'm telling myself.
So what do you think?
I think it's just a trend for 20-year-olds now. Like it's like whatever we did back in the day, where older people are probably like, that looks ridiculous. But if it's what everyone's doing in your age group, you're like, this is how we all look. So it's cool, Like to us, we're like, oh, what? But
yeah, like, I don't think much of TJ and hers connection. I don't think that either one of them will be there long. There were a couple couples where we didn't see much of them this episode, like Iris and her connection. We didn't see
Pepe, where the heck did he go?
Pepe,
was he even there?
The Hannah dupe, we haven't seen any of them. Chris, the only thing that we've seen of Chris and Shelly was like her kind of saying that Chris reminds her of Ace, which I'm going to assume that that's because Chris and Ace are both from LA. So maybe that's the similarity.
That's diabolical, that bringing a 6'8" man.
Wait to see them standing next to each other, Ashley. It's going to be hilarious.
I literally thought that people were editing that picture of him sitting on the couch and his feet dangling. Like, I was like, that's just exaggerated. But no, it was real. And those are like regular size men. Like, I don't know, what are they, like 6 feet-ish? So
yeah,
6'8" is a lot of man.
Yeah, 6'8". That's 2 aces. Like, you could stack them on top of each other like a Lego, and he's still only 6'8". But yeah, I think I don't know. That's all we really seen of them. We didn't see a lot. Who else did we get to see? We saw a lot of Clark and Taylor. We saw Nick trying to get his groove on with Jaden.
Right.
Who was not feeling him.
No.
Which to me, it seemed like they were having better chats than her and Austin, but she was feeling
I like Sierra seemed very sad to be away from Nick. I don't know if the feeling was mutual, but what did you think about her?
Yeah, I just felt like with there being an elimination coming up, like people needed to lock in. And I felt like initially I felt like Sierra's locking in. Sierra is like, she's really good at having conversations with other people. I think she, we hear her say that her conversations with her partner in Casa with the like more deeper and not as much as like on a surface level as it is with that her and Nick's conversation have no substance. So I thought, you know, okay, maybe she's going to be leaning towards this new guy, but it looks like she then had a meltdown over Nick and like thinking about what he's doing. I think she knows that Nick has a wandering eye. And so she's thinking if he's single and he has a free for all and he's sleeping in a bed with somebody else, like she knows her man basically. Like she experienced it firsthand with Baldasha, and it's like whole time Nick don't got a connection over there. Like, you know, which is an interesting twist, you know?
Yeah, it is. I didn't see that coming. But I think when Baldasha was on the Vow Palace, she said that Nick, or maybe it was a different interview, but she said Nick was in an open relationship. Did we talk about that?
Yeah, I've heard Nick say that, I think a few times on the episode, that he was in an open relationship. So that makes sense to me. Like Nick gets very much like open relationship, free for all, do whatever I want. Like, you know, so
yeah, it's hard to see Sierra have like so attached to him because you know, like no matter what their connection is or how much fun they're having, it doesn't seem like it's gonna go where she wants it to go. So I hope she realizes that.
And I feel the same way though about Alandria and Taylor. Like just watching the episodes, like you can tell how much she is into him, and it hurts my feelings because it's like we won't get to the elimination, the fake elimination, but it was just, I'm like, okay, Sierra's like super into Nick more than he's into her, and Alandria is super into Taylor more than he is into her. And it wasn't nice to see that from my girls.
No. We can get to the fake elimination if you want. Are we ready to get there now?
Are we ready to get into the... Okay, so I've been seeing videos all night of people like weeping, sobbing, crying, like their reaction to this episode. And it's like, my reaction to the episode was like, I literally was watching it. Like, it was, of course, really emotional to see the girls crying and thinking that Alandria was actually getting sent home. Well, because we see Zach stand up and gets partnered with Amaya. Then Alandria's single at the fire pit and nobody stands up for her. And then she gets this text that doesn't say, might I add you, that doesn't say you're getting dumped. It just says you're leaving the villa, right? You have 30 minutes, you're leaving the villa.
Oh, it said you're not in a couple, so pack your bags in 30 minutes and say your goodbyes.
Say your goodbyes.
It. So it was
so it didn't say you're being dumped. And then we see the girl, like, it was sad seeing the girls like cry, but it's like the whole time I'm watching it, I'm like, there's no way Alandria is leaving. You know what I mean? I'm like, there's just no way that this, you know what I mean?
I did see people say like, oh, it looks scripted, but I felt like their reactions were genuine. I'm not so sure about the new people. Like, I don't know. Maybe it was genuine. Like, I felt like Zach was genuine. I think he thought when he picked Amaya that like Alandria wouldn't actually go home, and then when they sent that text, he panicked and he was like, I don't want to be the villain here. Like, he knows Alandria is loved and he's the one sending her home. So I felt like all their reactions were genuine. I mean, Alandria didn't get upset at all, but we've seen her do that before, like stay very calm in an emotional situation. So I think she was just waiting till she left to get upset, but then obviously
she got a little upset. We seen when she's like, I always have to be strong. But I feel like she handled it with so much poise and she handled it with so much grace. I did feel like it was so weird when Zach was like, I'm sorry, I just went with what my heart, like, or what my heart is. It's like, boy, it has been 16 hours. Like, please relax. Like, she's not tripping. And then for him, when he tried to pull her for a chat and she was like, save your breath or save your words or whatever, like,
it's like, does she even know his name? Like, no, they barely know each other.
Yeah, so it's like for him to try and like create this moment of like, I need to say goodbye or I need to explain, like, you don't need to explain anything. Like, you had a better connection with Amaya and that's all there's no explanation needed. It's not like we were in a couple for days and days and days and you owe me an explanation, but It was sad to see all of the girls crying, but I just didn't buy it. Like, I'm watching it, like, and this is before I seen the Jeep scene. I'm like, I'm not buying this. Like, this is
No.
not actually happening. There's no way that they would do this. It doesn't even make sense to like have a recoupling less than 24 hours later, and like there's a dumping, like, and there's a chance that two OGs there's only 3 connections right now. You're gonna send 2 of them home. They're not doing that. You
Yeah.
know, so
It's
I
hard
think
though
I
because
didn't
it's
have
like,
the same emotional effect as everyone else watching tonight's episode.
Yeah.
I was like, this is stupid.
well, I mean, we love Alandria. She's amazing, but she does not seem to have a connection with Taylor, and she is closing herself off to new connections. So it's hard. Like,
she thinks she has a connection with Taylor, Ashley. I think
Yeah.
when she was like, "Oh, I'm gonna go get my cowboy. Me and Taylor we gonna find each other. Don't worry about it." Like, she seemed very confident in that.
Yeah. But we're not
think.
seeing any like chemistry with them. Like, where is she getting that
I
from?
don't know, girl. I think she got chemistry with him. I think she
Yeah.
you know, and it was really sad to hear her say, like, I've been single for 5 years and I just want love. But you can't settle just because you want love, because Taylor's not it.
No. Yeah, maybe that does make sense. She's been single for 5 years. She obviously is just more reserved, and probably being so beautiful but reserved, it comes across as not interested, and people feel intimidated versus she just does a slow burn, and you have to put in that time to get closer to her. So,
Yeah.
which Taylor does seem to be doing, but yeah, he may not for long.
Into it. He's not into it. After seeing him interact with the other girls, it's just, I mean,
Yeah.
we knew he wasn't into it. I think that just kind of solidified he wasn't into it. Like, you know, and she's into it. And I think she's so fixated on this, like, I always wanted a cowboy and he's a literal cowboy. Like, what are the odds type thing? Like, this must be fate type shit. Ew, I just said type shit, and I hate when grown people use that in like
You got it from Jeremiah.
I got it from Jeremiah, like like justice for Jeremiah. But yeah, I think that was really sad to see. I think that we really seen the impact that Alandria had on the villa and the girls, the way that they were crying and sobbing. I think seeing Shelly like run after her was so sad. Them thinking she was going home was sad, but I think it was hard for me to get sad because I knew she wasn't going anywhere, you know?
Yeah, it was pretty crazy how they all just bought it. Like, no one questioned it at all, and they were all so sad. And yeah, we didn't see even one person kind of be like, no, there's no way. Like, they didn't say dumped from the villa. Like, they didn't even question
pay
it.
attention to context clues. Like, I think they were just, so I can imagine like being in that emotional moment. Like, you're just like, what is going on?
Yeah.
Like, this can't be happening. But then it's like, they probably thought Jeremiah leaving is not like, that's not happening, you know? And you know, not that we're talking about Jeremiah right now, but I feel like they should have let the girls decide what boy went home and the boys decide what girl went home. But if what happened to Maya would have been out of here. But
yeah, it is weird that they didn't do it that way, because that is usually how they do it, right? Yeah,
that's what I thought. Yeah. And then we see Nick. So theirs was like popcorn. It was like, who was single up there first?
First, it was TJ.
And then Vanna stood up for TJ, which left Ace single. Then Coco stood up for Ace, which left Taylor single. Then Clark stood up for Taylor, which left Nick single. And Jaden did not stand up for Nick.
No.
Led everyone to believe that Nick was going home. And again, just knew it wasn't going to happen. There's no way that they would shake the villa up that much, because I think people would legitimately stop watching if it happened that way. And the one thing I noticed is that Alandria was like, tell Taylor this, and Nick didn't say to tell Sierra a motherfucking thing, or did I miss it?
They might have cut it out, but no, it kind of gave.
He was saying to tell her bye, like
no. No, he was not thinking about her at all. He didn't seem upset either. So yeah, it is weird that
he cried a little bit. He cried a little bit.
I was just thinking of him walking out, and he seemed like fine. But I think they're all so shocked, you know, and not believing it. And then it wasn't true. So it was good that he didn't believe it. But
I feel like a better cliffhanger would have been to not even show that scene of Olandria.
yeah,
And they should have let the audience think that they were actually going home.
yeah, let
Um,
us
that would
get
have
mad
been a
at them.
better cliffhanger than having her come pick him up in the Jeep, because now everybody knows that they're not actually going anywhere.
Yeah. Do you think Huda actually likes JD and they're gonna have this big redemption that she never had with Jeremiah? I don't think she likes him. I think she was just pretending.
I can't. I mean, I think her not picking him initially is an indicator
Mhm.
that the physical attraction isn't there for her. I think
Yeah.
she picked her physical types, which was, who'd she pick? Brian, who's with Andrina. I'm sure she hates Andrina. And then,
Mm.
who's the other person that she picked?
Was it the tall guy, Chris? Or the Jason Momoa guy?
No, she picked, that's Brian, I believe.
Oh,
Jason
right.
Momoa. And then I think she picked Elon.
Oh, was it?
I think she
Or,
picked Elon.
oh, yes, she did. She
She
did.
did pick
Hmm.
Elon. So I think those are initially her types. The fact that she didn't
Hmm.
pick JD, but then she did seem to be like when she was like, "Oh, he's everything I need." He seems to. I think the fact that he's dated a mom before, she hit him with
Hmm.
her favorite line, "I'm a mom." Um,
Oh,
she
man.
did. He's dated a mom before. He's
Hmm.
seen her crash out and knows that she cray cray. And he said he likes it. He says he's a little crazy too.
In that conversation, again, like this is the part where we're not seeing like these good sides of Huda. Like the way she even described like dating men as a mom was just weird. It was like
What'd she
she's like
say?
it hasn't. She was like it hasn't mattered. Like it never mattered. It wasn't a big deal. It just wasn't described in the way I'd expect a mom. I would think it would be like my daughter like means everything to me. The men in my life that I date like have to treat her this certain way, and like she just didn't describe it the way moms usually do. It was kind of like she didn't like it being brought up and she didn't want to be judged differently and she was just like it's not a thing, like it doesn't matter, and it was just
Maybe she
weird.
meant it from a sense of like men don't.
It
It's
hasn't
not a thing.
stopped them.
Yes, I think that's
Yeah,
more so how she meant to, like, oh, they don't care. Like nobody has
yeah,
cared that I'm a mom, and I
but
don't
I think she
find
needs
that
to
to
be
be
more.
true, because if nobody cared that you were a mom, it wouldn't have been this big huge secret when you've come in.
Mhm,
It's been, in my opinion, it probably has been a deal breaker being a
mhm.
young person that is a mom. Like not everybody wants to take on the role, but then it's like in the next breath she also said in that conversation, like, well, whoever I date is going to eventually be a stepdad to my daughter, because I'm dating to marry. Isn't that what she said?
Yeah, or she said dad to my future kids.
Oh,
So
okay.
it's almost
Dad to
like
my future kid.
she
Yeah.
was like, yeah, she was trying to like explain it away as though like, oh, they'll be a dad eventually. So what's the difference? And yeah, it just didn't come across well. It wasn't a deep conversation about her being a mom. It was kind of like it's not a big deal, like just don't think about it basically.
If it
And it's
wasn't a
just
big deal,
weird that she's not
you wouldn't
more.
have hid it for so long from Jeremiah.
Yeah.
So
And I think it should be her that's more discerning to be like, I don't let very many men date me because of this. Not like I'm worried that it stops certain men from dating me. Because like we said from the start, we didn't understand why she didn't tell everyone right away, because you would want to weed those people out right away.
yeah,
Why would you
yeah.
want to be with someone who doesn't want kids? You don't want to trick them into wanting kids.
Which
You
I
want
think
it.
that, yeah, I think that that was a part of her and Jeremiah's demise, is I think that it did bother him more than what
Yeah.
he said it did. Um,
Well, they do ask him on the Val Files I saw in the teaser. So, I mean, I listened to Jalen today. It was very boring. I love Jalen, and it's great hearing all the good things going on for him. But T wise, it was blah. Like they were like, why did Alandria pick Taylor? And he was just like, oh, the best man won. And they were like, what's going on with Ace? Is he a leader? And he was like, no, that's not going on at all. Everything's great. And so
you don't know,
he gave
Jalen, just
he
go.
gave no tea.
Just,
But it was his first podcast. He didn't
yeah,
know the
that's true. Actually,
tea.
we love Jalen, and he's sweet as
Yeah.
pie, so he don't know no better shit. He needs his.
But
He
yeah.
probably hasn't been media trained and everything. Yeah, I don't know if she likes him. I think because we hear her in the dressing room telling the girls that she had a good chat with him. I don't know. I don't
Mm,
know. I think, and again, she's not playing the game properly, right? Or from what we've seen, because if you do like Brian and you do
hmm
like um Elon, it's okay to pull them. It's okay to
Yeah.
talk to them. You don't only have to talk to Brian because that's, I mean, whatever, JD, because that's who your couple is. You can
Yeah.
go, you can try to talk to Brian. You can try to talk to
Yeah.
you could try to talk to Elon. Like those aren't their men. Like you should try and build and find your best connection. So if those are the people who you're drawn to and physically attracted to, that's who you should go for. And I guess
I
I
was
didn't
just,
realize Andrina was so tall. She's fucking tall.
oh, is she?
She's very tall.
Oh, I didn't
Yeah,
notice.
she's like tall. Like
Yeah.
probably like 6 feet. I don't know if
Oh,
she's 6 feet, but she's tall.
I'm jealous. I always wanted to be tall,
She's really
but
tall.
I guess Ace would not have been a good match for her
I
then.
think
I don't
that's
know what
probably
happened
why
there.
he
He was,
didn't. Yeah, he was so
yeah,
excited about her. I think that's why he probably didn't go for her. She's for sure taller than him, for sure.
yeah, yeah, that wouldn't be good. I'm sure she's not into that, but I was wondering about Huda just because I sent you all these, like, People magazine had a massive article about Huda, how she's the best thing to ever happen to reality TV. And then
Yeah,
Glamour magazine had one.
yeah.
And those things they don't just do that for fun. Those are not, I don't know if they're paid, but they're set up
They
by
can be.
PR.
They can be.
Yeah.
They can be paid
So
sometimes. Yeah.
either those were set up by Love Island PR because they really want to make Huda the next Leah, the big star. They want us to love her because that's really their only big star. Like we do love Shelley, we love Alandria, we love all of them, but they don't like they want that one that's getting
Breakout
everybody
star.
talking.
Mhm.
Yeah, like everyone's really like talking about her. It's like Leah, she's loved, she's hated by some. And so, but she also has the PR, so they might be doing that, and it has nothing to do with Love Island, but they're pushing her hard
They're
on
pushing her hard.
media.
She hit a
So,
million on her TikTok. So she does have a loyal following. I think that I think they've seen the backlash she was getting and they're trying to turn it around for her. So I think that's why she's still in the villa. I think that's
yeah,
why, now we're seeing a calmer side of her. We're seeing she's getting like they're trying to take back some of that backlash that she's getting. So, and they're trying to give her a redemption arc for sure because I think, she was getting it pretty bad, So.
and who knows? Maybe by the end of this, we'll be like, we love Huda,
No, I
but
don't see that
no.
happening for me.
Like after what we've seen, I don't know that we could get there because
I
as
don't
like a lot of
know.
people
Maybe
have
it'll
called
be
it.
like a Leah thing for me. Like once I see her actual personality on socials and like see her sense of humor, maybe that will change my mind. But as of right now, I think, like you said, she's not apologetic. We haven't seen like these super like good sides of her like in front, like we haven't seen her take accountability. Somebody said that she apologized to, I think she apologized to Iris, but it was almost like you apologized to her only because she stood behind you and supported you and helped you
Yeah,
in
yeah.
the house, not because of what you did. We never saw her apologize to Amaya. Maya's just so sweet, she just skipped over it. But I think, yeah, I don't see that happening for me. But hey,
No, and it's hard to imagine that she doesn't always talk to partners this way. If this is how she did on TV, like, and we've heard in the past partners have said she is like this, like, everybody has fights and yells and stuff, but what we saw was a little disturbing. So,
it is disturbing, and it's just I can't help but think like if a man was doing that, like there's just no way. If you can you imagine a man telling a woman on national TV, you better not eat all your food because you're a woman and you don't need to eat a full plate of food.
yeah.
People would be in an uproar,
Yeah, I
or
know. And
just
I
a
hate this
lot of the
because I,
things she said. Like people would be
Mhm.
like, this man is scary, and it's a double standard. I get it, but it's just, I don't think it's fair. Like we
I
literally
don't,
watched Jeremiah, like, in my opinion, like shut down. Can you
yeah.
imagine if you were watching a woman shut down and the man just kept like, what's wrong with you? What's wrong with you? Tell me. No, come on. Like, we're going to talk right now. Like, oh, like, you
Yeah,
know what I mean? It
no,
would not be good. So.
I know. And I hate that we have to defend Jeremiah so much because
Side
I
with a
do,
man, not side with a
yeah,
man. Like,
I do feel like a lot of times it doesn't go this way, like you said. So, uh, yeah, she just hasn't given us much to defend yet, but there's still time. We'll
there's
see.
still time. She got 9 lives.
Yes, she does.
got 9 lives. So we'll see. We'll see if she does connect with JD. I hope she still tries to explore with other people. You know, we heard her say that she's liking the experience. She was like, I was like tied to one person. I'm liking like being able to chat with everybody. And I'm like, okay, that's all I think the viewers want is like chat with other people. At least talk to other people. Allow him to talk to other people. But you guys, you're getting mad if the man tries to even pull anybody for a chat. Nobody even wants to.
Yeah.
I don't think she had a conversation with the OGs. The OGs didn't have a conversation with her. It's like, we wanted you to chat, girl. That's all we wanted. Look at you now. Look at you having fun and shit. You know, like. So
yeah, it'll be good to see what happens, and then we'll know who the problem was, I guess, or maybe we'll never know because Jeremiah's not there. But
yeah, my poor Jeremiah. Justice for Jeremiah. But we don't get an episode tomorrow.
Nope.
And then we'll be back Thursday, which I'm almost sure Alandria's going to the villa, and Nick is going to Casa. Which again. Irrelevant, right? Like I think it will be interesting to see Alandria because I do think that he has a connection with Clark. So Alandria being in the villa is gonna be weird for him. Now Nick going into Casa, I think we already see Sierra's crying, talking about she missed him. She's just gonna hop over to Nick.
Yeah.
And there's no and that doesn't make sense because maybe that's not going to happen because what sense does it make to send Nick in as a bombshell? That would be boring. To shake up Sierra's vibe because there's no connections for him to explore there. It's all the OG.
Maybe it'll be something where they like hold them off to the side somewhere, and it'll come down to if Taylor and Sierra come back alone. And if they come back alone, then maybe that will save Nick and Alandria. But if they come back with people, then they go home. Like maybe it's like a delayed rejection. Because I don't see anyone else. Like, yeah, if they go back, if Nick goes into Casa, that Sierra's the only person that he has a connection with, and same with Alandria Taylor. So what is the point?
It's gonna mess up Sierra's connection with Elin. Yeah, and then it'll mess up.
Unless they decide to just combine everybody right now and bring them back, and everyone's with everyone. But that would also be hard to follow because there's so many people right now.
There's so many people. I don't know what's going to happen. All I know is Alandria and Nick aren't going anywhere.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah.
They're going to do something with them.
They're going to do something with them. And whatever the case may be, they're going back to the villa. They already said everybody's going back to the villa. So
that would be so funny.
Even if they hold them out and like let them, maybe they're going to hold them out and let them see what's going on in the villa and in Casa. And so they're watching everything. But whatever the case is, they're going back to the villa.
That would be so funny if they just bring them like to another location and then let Sierra and Taylor say goodbye and then they leave. They had us all thinking they were saved, but they're
not leaving. Literally, what would we watch for then? At that point, Amaya is the only one. Like Amaya, it could be like, not to compare, but like Janae, how Janae didn't have a connection all the way through, and then she got Kenny, and then they made it to the final 3. So it's like I think people love Amaya that she could potentially make it to the finals just because people like her and they want her to find love. And I don't know if that's in Zach. I have a funny story about Zach. So somebody sent me an Instagram, those infamous Instagram stories. People love their moment.
They're all doing them.
People love their moment. So a girl posted that she actually, let me read it to you guys because it was funny. I sent it to Ashley. So there's like, the infamous Instagram post with the words, and it says, "Not this N-word going on Love Island while still married to my ass. Let me go call my lawyers and fuck up his bag. Ain't no N-word about to embarrass me on international TV without signing these divorce papers he's been ducking." And it was apparently Zach, who's not an N-word, by the way. And then the next post was, "He's a dumbass. We still got a joint bank account. Let me go spend that Love Island check real quick and book a flight to Fiji with these divorce papers." So I instantly messaged the girl and asked her for receipts and any evidence to back up that she's actually was married to Zach or is married to Zach. And she blocked me. So
That's always
and then deleted the Instagram story. So I think initially she was doing it for a moment of attention and realized it was getting big and quickly deleted it. The one thing I noticed is that she's a very cute girl, 24 years old. Zach is 29 years old, and I believe he's lives in the States now, but did live in the UK. I think just
Mhm.
recently came to the States, and so this girl's not in the UK. So I figured she was just kind of bluffing a little bit and got scared.
Yeah.
So
That would be amazing if someone did show up in Fiji with divorce papers, though I like where she's going with this.
yeah, and I mean, it
That's a
did
good
sound like
storyline, but
there. I mean, I don't think that there's any truth to it at all, or
no.
else she would have provided the receipts. But like, he would technically be separated, so
Yeah.
I don't know.
Whenever someone blocks you once you ask for receipts, that's how we know it's not real.
And I think we did hear him. Was it him that said something in the episode about wanting marriage and all of that? So it
Yeah.
never came up that he was married or whatever. But again, never a good sign when you ask for receipts and somebody blocks you. So
No. Not giving truthful at
no,
all.
not
So,
getting truthful at all. So
no. So if you see that one going around on TikTok, which it probably will, now you know it's
yeah,
not.
and Yulisa actually also posted
Oh,
an Instagram, right, that you told me about.
yes, I don't follow her anymore, but somehow like a reel of hers popped up in my page and it said something to the effect of like she's going to be telling the real story of what happened. And so we're like, we know the real story. They sent your ass home, but apparently she's got more to say. So
Yeah, she's gonna have
I,
a whole story time on it. It's like I'm not really sure
yes.
what more you could say. You were there for one day, girl. They kicked you
No.
out, and now you're not there. Like,
Yeah, I think it said something like she was woken up in the middle of the night, dragged by her ankles or something, which people were like making funny TikToks about. And so I think she's just joking. But
right? She
yeah,
goes,
I don't know what.
apparently I was dragged by my ankles, but if y'all really want the story, like and it's kind of like, girl, you could have just you didn't have to make a video telling us you were gonna make a video, but you could have just made a video and told the story. But I get it. She's trying to cling on to her last little moments. Like I honestly forgot she was on the show. It's like so much has happened. So
Mhm.
she's just grasping at straws, trying to get her last little moments. So can't can't be
So we
mad at
should
it.
not
I'll listen.
interview her.
I'll listen.
I
No,
was gonna say, I'm
I'll
like, I don't like
nosy.
her.
No, I don't like her, but I'll listen because I'm nosy.
I'm
So I can
nosy.
report
Same.
back.
I know. I'm like, I wonder if she'd have any good tea, but she was there for one day, so probably not a lot. She doesn't have
Literally,
any
literally.
information for us.
Not, we
So,
know more than her at this point. So
yeah. Very true.
yeah.
Well, I think you got any secrets or anything fun to say, or we just wrap it up and be back very
Hashtag
soon.
justice for Jeremiah. Bring Jeremiah back.
Yes.
At least I
Yes,
don't
I
think we're
know,
getting
right?
that. We will give you guys a recap on his interview with Nick Viall and see if he says
Yes.
anything interesting. So
Oh, and a little bird said we might be getting the perfect match cast this week, next week, very
I think we're
soon.
getting it very soon because I noticed a lot of them are giving, first of all, a lot of them are starting to
Interviews.
follow me. And then
Oh.
a lot of them are giving like a big news in 15 hours. Is this guy on it? I believe he was on. I know he was on Love Island Games because that's where
Hmm.
I know him from. But this guy, Ryan,
I don't recognize it.
like, do you know if he's on?
Ryan, what?
Maybe that's not his name. Um, let me see.
They are doing another Love Island Games later this year, and I did see Beldasha post today. Someone asked, like, oh, because as soon as they announced Casa, Beldasha started posting again.
Oh,
And
okay. So I think she was trying
she's,
to
yeah,
give the
get
lore
us to
that maybe
wonder.
he was gonna be on it. Okay, all
Yeah.
right, I see what you're doing.
But someone said, are you going to be on another show? And she did little emojis. It's like, ooh, maybe. So maybe Love Island Games. But no, perfect match. I did do an article of who the cast is a while ago. I should
Whoa.
repost it. But
I don't think his name
um,
is Ryan.
no.
I don't think
He's from Love.
I know he was on.
No Love Island people are on Perfect Match.
Oh, okay. He was on one episode of of something, and then he came back on Love Island Games, and then he had the announcement like, oh,
Oh.
big new show alert. The same thing, the same exact thing you sent me of Hannah, he posted the same thing, like new
Oh,
show
okay.
coming in 15 out, like new show alert and had a countdown.
Oh, I don't know. I don't know
I
about
don't
that guy.
remember
I
his
know there
name.
was,
I don't remember his name.
yeah.
It's not Ryan.
So Hannah is Hannah Burns from The Mole. She's on it. Juliet Porter from, I think, Siesta Key. Sandy, our girl Sandy from The Ultimatum that you saw at Justin Timberlake. She'll be on it.
I'm gonna be nice.
Madison from Love is Blind,
I'm like,
season
I'm gonna be
8.
nice.
Yeah.
I'm gonna be
This is
honest, but I'm gonna be nice. I'm gonna be nice.
we'll do our best. Yeah, and
Do
then
our best.
Rachel Recchia and Clayton Echard from The Bachelor world.
Okay.
There's a couple of Temptation Island people that his name's this. I mean, not Temptation. Oh, there is
Ray.
Temptation Island.
His
Olivia.
Ray, not Ryan.
Ray.
Ray Gant. He was on this guy.
I don't recognize it.
He was on Love Island. He was on Love Island USA.
Maybe he's going on to the other Love Island as like a bombshell or something, because I don't recognize the name.
Yeah, he gave that same low countdown.
Interesting.
Yeah. Surprise, 9 hours, 52 minutes, take a wild guess. And he had a story before that said like new show or something.
He definitely could be. I don't know that I have a full list of what I posted. I just got what I was told.
Okay.
This person was the one that told me about Ollie and AD before it got out to the world like a year ago, or not a year, 'cause it hasn't been
he's
filmed,
obviously got some good info.
yes. So yeah, obviously Ollie and AD, and yeah, there's lots more, but we'll find out soon. So
Yeah, so apparently we're getting a cast announcement, and I think maybe this guy Ray, although there's no Love Island, maybe he gonna be on something else.
it definitely could be, because there's MTV, there's Bachelor World, so there is a lot of like crossover.
So he got an announcement coming in 9 hours, and I thought maybe it was Perfect Match because I knew they were announcing soon that it was coming out. So we'll see.
Yeah, and Louis. Yeah. Yeah, he's on this. He's on everything.
He's
so
on everything right now.
one.
He's hot. He's hot. Now that's what like a bombshell should look like. You know what I mean? Like Louis is fine.
Yeah.
Although, I will say that the boy bombshells are a lot better than last year's bombshells. I found Chris to be better looking than he did in his photos. I found Zach to be better looking than he did in his photos. Brian, the one that's with Andrina, I thought he was really cute. So we got some cute.
The photos don't seem to like do them justice.
Anybody doesn't do the girls justice, doesn't do the boys justice. They always look a lot better on screen or on their Instagrams.
I know. I don't know what they do. The same thing happens with Love is Blind too, right? We find that like they look like something about the professional like type stock photo that they make. It just doesn't look right. But yeah, I'm trying to think of other Perfect Match people, but
yeah, we're gonna get an official cast list soon, and then we also have the ultimatum coming.
Yes. Oh my gosh, it's coming in 1 hour. So
in 1 hour, my lord.
Yes.
Okay, well,
we'll be back with that and our Bravo Day and more Love Island USA.
If you missed our interview with Zach from the Valley on Bravo, please check it out.
Yeah, we got so lucky. We got to talk to him, and he was very giving of the tea. He told us about the reunion, about Britt's new man, about Kristen's baby, and all kinds of goodies.
Yeah, all kinds of stuff.
He was so fun.
Yeah, he was. So make sure you guys check that out, and we will see you guys soon. Tomorrow.
We never stay away long. Bye, guys.